Hello there. Welcome to Football 301. We are live reacting to Week 10. I'm your host, Nate Tice. I'm joined, as always, for these live shows, my guy, Mr. Forverts, Charles McDonald. How you doing today, Chuck? How was that slate of games? I was starting with Berlin and ending with a triple 40 burger in the afternoon
Oh,
slate. Just a clean slate at the end of the day.
yeah. I will say I appreciate the afternoon slate, like kind of giving us a chance to at least get out of there early. But yeah, weird day from the Falcons just
We were
having
on
a
time.
mess when they started off, and then through the 40 burgers. It was an interesting day, but that 1 p.m. slate was good. The 1 p.m. slate was good.
It
We'll
was.
we'll give the NFL that.
It's kind of what we thought. It's kind of how we previewed it. It's kind of how it laid out that way too. And we got the two night games. I mean, we got a great night game tonight, got a good Monday night game as well. But week 10 was awesome. We're going to go through it with three highs, three lows. All right. High number one was a game that was very entertaining for a while until it kind of, just stretched out in the end. And the team that's not battered and losing their several defensive player of the year candidates, where you actually felt that throughout the game. The Rams remain probably the NFL's hottest team. We have NFC in our notes. I would say NFL's hottest team. Beat the 49ers 42-26, really controlled it in the second half. Next week, we have a Rams Seahawks matchup. That'll be a lot of fun. But before we get to that, what'd you think about this game? What'd you think about this Rams offense kind of rolling, taking advantage of Fred Warner not in there? The 49ers
Oh
offense had
man,
some really good moments, but just wasn't able to kind of pull it off. But what'd you think about this game, Chuck?
man. This is what elite teams I feel like are supposed to do to injured teams. This is
Yeah.
I like in both games where we saw Seattle and Los Angeles, handed to the division opponents. That's what you want to see if you're a fan of those teams. Like we've been performing like an elite team up until this point, and we're gonna smash you. Like that was pretty thorough, right? And the 49ers they had a little chance like in the second half, but it never felt like they really had a chance to win that game. And I just think that uh, really impressive what the Rams have been able to put together this season. Because even before the year, when we were like, "Hey, this looks good if Stafford stays healthy," and he's
Yep.
stayed healthy, but even with like that in mind, it's been better than I thought it would be as a whole. They might be the best team in the NFL. We'll see when Seattle and when they play the Rams next week for the first game between those two. But yeah, that was really awesome to see by the Rams. It just really thorough, complete win.
Yeah, it really was, and that's the thing is why I've been kind of harping on and praising Chris Shula for the last kind of couple of weeks now, and really on our midseason show with Robert Mays, is because of just what not only just what the offense is doing, is what the defense is doing as well. But yeah, the offense was, I mean, just the story of all this. It's they just absolutely just roll today. Like you said, you want the good offenses to feel like good offenses, the good teams to feel like good teams. 58% success rate, 53% rushing success rate, 62% passing success rate. And I keep harping on the Fred Warner not being there for the 49ers because it felt like his absence was like very apparent, like throwing the ball over the
Mhm.
middle. There was a couple awesome dig throws to Devontae Adams running the ball, but Stafford went 11 of 15, 138 yards and two touchdowns between the numbers. That's over 9 yards an attempt. The Rams had 0.36 EPA per play. They averaged more than half a point of EPA per play per dropback, or I should say Stafford did. Only 30, I mean, on 38 dropbacks as well. And Brady obviously had a good talking point here, but he really expanded on it. Tom Brady. I think he expanded on it well. Was the multi tight end looks that the Rams are getting to because they've done so much 11 in the three tight end looks, and I mean, all the guys got featured today: Parkinson, Ferguson, Higbee, Davis Allen. But that's why I'm really bullish on this Rams team is because they can pivot. They can run the ball, they
Yeah.
can pass, they can straight drop back, they can play action drop back, they can run the ball in a variety of ways down the middle on duo. They can run zone runs now. They got back to that. I talked about that on the Thursday show. But today, 11 personnel, 33 plays, 200 yards, 6 yards a play, one touchdown, 58% success rate. This is all from Next Gen Stats. 13 personnel with three tight ends, 30 plays out of 13 personnel. Just saying, hey, we're daring. Your Fred Warner is gone. We're making you put as many linebackers on the field, and we're just going to abuse you. And they abused them. 202
Yeah.
plays, 6.7 yards per play, four touchdowns, 63% success rate. I mean, what do I know the Seahawks will probably have some answers to this, but just man, is this the best offense right now?
It feels like it. It feels like it.
Right?
And like, when they're healthy, they're just there's just too much that they could do. And like even Puka wasn't he wasn't like at his best because he had a bad drop that he normally had will reign in on a routine basis too. So like there's room for this to get even a little bit cleaner as they get more plays and more games in together as a full unit. So I'm really just like, it's so cool to see Sean McVay like kind of continue to do this. I know he's had a lot of good players, but just where he started with like that Jared Goff offense and all the play action stuff to where they are now, just like a total revolution. And I think like, shoot, they can win the Super Bowl, obviously, if they're going to keep playing like this. And like I said before, NFC West, maybe the NFC crown in general might come down to Seattle versus the Rams, which is just really cool, especially when you think about like how each team approaches the game and how they can play off each other. And they've just thoroughly been good this season.
And that's I almost didn't like appreciate Shula on the defense until last week, where I was like studied them finally. Like I've watched a lot of Rams games, so it's a little different when you're actually going like, all right, what are your numbers and like what are you actually doing on each down? And it's like they have really cool answers. They're really good against the run. They're really good against the pass. They can blitz you. They can rush you with 4. They can actually have coverage now. I'm really interested to watch what they did in this game against a team that Shanahan usually gives the Rams some issues because he just kind of has the Rosetta Stone of this offense. So kind of goes, I know what you're thinking I'm going to do, so I'm going to do this actually. It's kind of fun to watch always. But like you said, it's just these two NFC West teams. It's no dig at the 49ers because they're battling too, but it's just, man, the Seahawks and Rams just feel like such class right now because they just have so many good players, such good units, such good coaching. But yeah, the Seahawks lapped the Cardinals. And DeMarcus Lawrence had a brace of touchdowns, 2 touchdowns. The Lions completely snuffed out the Commanders. That's the other NFC team kind of battling in there as well. Commanders are just a zombie team with all the injuries they had right now. But man, it was cool to, like you said, McVay. I'm fascinated by him every year. What's his new kind of little tweak? It's stuff he's done before, but then kind of just new iterations of that. There's so much zone stuff this year on top, or they're really good at the zone stuff this year on top of the duo stuff. And now they're doing the play action, the dropbacks off of it. Seeing all these tight ends get going. Like, just look at their targets today. 8 targets to Adams, 6 to Nakua, 5 to Parkinson, 3 to Higbee, 4 to Ferguson, 3 to Kyron Williams, 2 to Allen, 2 to Mumfield. Like, it was just, they're spreading the ball out, and they also have these 2 dudes at receiver. So it's like, they're just such a tough out. I can't wait to watch that game against Seattle next week because Seahawks are just rolling too.
Yeah. The last thing I wanted to just add on this game is, I feel like Mac Jones kind of deserves some props for how he's played this season. Like even today was, like they had some pretty good moments today, even though it just too banged up to kind of get across the finish line. But I was looking at like their first and second down stats in this game, and Mac Jones on first and second down dropbacks, 29 for 32, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns, 44% conversion rate, 0.42 EPA per drop back and a 73% success rate. So like you did some nice things, man. And 0 sacks too. Like across those 32 dropbacks, 0 sacks. You managed pressure on 34% of those dropbacks. So he's kind of redeemed himself, I think, after how going home to Jacksonville wasn't maybe the best thing for him last year. And maybe he'll get a chance to start somewhere next year. I don't know, but I thought that it's been cool to kind of see him have this little redemption tour and be a little jokester with the media.
Yeah, no, and actually like talking crap and stuff like that. It's no, I mean overall he went 33-39. Yeah, 84.6% completion rate. Like he's chucking it. Like he throws some balls to Jennings, and I get why Jennings has those broken ribs in this offense, but I agree. I've always been I never really totally was out on Jones because of like what he had to go through the last year with the Patriots, and the Jaguars year was just whatever. He had some home cooking literally going on. And it was just with him. But now he's always just been a cool accuracy guy. So like when he's rolling, it just feels really cool because there's just the ball floats out and then just boom, there's a catch and run that happens. So good little shout out there, Chuck. We'll go high number 2 to Mac Jones's original team. The Patriots had some rookies shining today. A nice win against the Bucs. Patriots win this game 28-23 in the Tom Brady Bowl, the Gronk Bowl. But TreVeyon Henderson, 2 huge runs, and also Kyle Williams with a nice catch and run on first down. That was nice off a little play action. It was a great throw by Maye, but we'll get to him in a sec. But this is why Henderson's so interesting for this offense, even if he can be sometimes not ideal between the tackles. He had a nice run on a dual run. That was the 55-yarder touchdown. And then he had the 69-yard touchdown where he goes out to the side. But what's significant was how fast these guys were. It was literally the fastest players that the Patriots have had this entire year. Cal Williams hit 21.78 miles an hour on his touchdown. Henderson went 22 miles an hour on his long touchdown, then 21.38. The fastest rookies of the year so far. So you felt that today. Wasn't all perfect. They made a little interception at the end. Their defense kind of got a couple times. Micah Buka had a big day. But what did you think about this Patriots win? What did you think about their young guys kind of stepping up today?
Oh man, it was fun to see the TreVeyon Henderson explosives to kind of get him going. And again, another game where the Bucks kind of struggle against the running backs, and they get gashed and they give up some of these big gains. And man, that just feels like it could be an Achilles heel, problem for them, like as they move forward, because they just don't seem to have an answer for like when these guys get in space. And today wasn't even. I don't even think today was really through the air for TreVeyon. I think he only caught one pass or a couple passes, but like on the ground, like they were ripping off some big plays. So if that's gonna be an element that they can count on, and I'm still kind of dubious on this, because Tampa Bay's run defenses, if you can get past Vita Vea, you might be able to do something explosive like on the back end. So
and they did.
We'll see if this.
It was a slog, but there was a couple haymakers they were able to throw. Yeah,
right. So if they can actually run the ball, and that's going to be something that is more consistent for them for the back half of the season. Like, I think it changes their scope from being like, a team with a really good quarterback that's ahead of schedule to maybe a team that could win a playoff game in the right circumstances. So I just thought it was really cool to see him kind of get off. And then even though Maye didn't have maybe like the most perfect day that we've seen, like just set up to a standard that he's had so far, he still played really well. Had some bombs where you look like, this is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and someone who can like actually carry them potentially like on a long run through the playoffs sooner rather than later, which is crazy because Patriots fans just don't deserve that to happen to them. So we'll have to track this one, but even on the other side, Egbuka, this is crazy. Like what these Ohio State guys are doing, JSN today. I just like the amount of talent they have recruited there, and then we got Cardinal Tate and Jeremiah Smith coming next. It's ridiculous.
Yes, I know. It's absolutely ridiculous. I know. I really like Tate. He was in my top 20 for the updated big board. No, it's Maye is just. I mean, he's. Whether he wins MVP or not, or whether you think it's justified with schedule and everything, I mean, he's just playing like a top 5 guy, like just week in, week out. Like you say, even in his floor moments, it's just there's so much they're doing, or he's able to do. Like he had a couple really good plays. The 3rd and 7 conversion was in the third quarter. He hits Matt Collins. He evades Vita Vea. Say that 5 times fast. And he steps up, and there's like 4 Bucks around him, so like an extended play, hits Matt Collins, who just like keeps running across, converts. He had a 3rd and 14 deep ball to Matt Collins where he just gets smoked. The play before, Vita Vea smoked him again, and he just steps up and just rockets these throws. 3rd and 9 curl route to Matt Collins for another nice throw, but Matt Collins does like a broad jump past the sticks. He had a slant to Pop Douglas. That was nice, but it was just, I thought the Bucks, they adapted pretty well where it felt like they were dropping 3. Not felt like it. They were rushing 3 and dropping 8. And they had Levante David as a spy. So
little engaging.
I know. Right. Yeah. KJ, Buddy Ryan was calling plays. And yeah, the stupid interception was, I saw that. I get this entire sequence. This happens to some of these young quarterbacks. He had to throw the ball away on 2nd down. And so they get really antsy and they're like, well, I can't throw the ball away twice back-to-back plays. And then then he tries to extend it and just makes a stupid play. But I thought his eyes were really good today. And the run game wise, I did think that the Bucks, the Patriots had 22 designed runs, only 5 were successful, but 3 were explosive. And that's the thing, is if you can offset the lack of successfuls with at least some bombs and real bombs, grand slams like Henderson hit today, like you said, it's just an element to this offense that kind of just makes them more dangerous outside just Drake Maye being, a golden god for stretches at a time.
Yeah, seriously. He's just incredible. And man, like just for him to be this good, this fast, just wish it was on a different team. Just wish it was on a different team.
I'm sure. I know. Just another
wish it was
guy
on my
in the
team.
AFC, oh my God. We'll get to that right now. Actually, high number 3.
Boy.
We're tilting this to the high. Jonathan Taylor rumbles in Berlin. I like how we label this. Colts win this game 31-25. How I headlined my notes was Colts allow Falcons to Falcon. Pull out victory. Jonathan Taylor rolls for 32 carries, 244 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Charles, I give the floor. What do you think about your 9-3 kickoff?
Ooh. It's no good. It's no good what's happening here, man. I thought this was just one of like the most confusing losses maybe that they've had all season, just because like it never really felt like they were in control of this game at any point. Obviously, because even at points when they had the lead, there were just points where they were just getting peppered on the runs, and you keep seeing Jonathan Taylor pick up like 5 yards, 6 yards, and they're getting blown off the ball, and they're struggling to kind of get things going in terms of their run defense and filling the run. And then you get the big 83-yard rush towards the end of the game, where it kind of just plays out in the most Falcons way possible, where you have like this. It looks like he got stuffed at first. Honestly, I was like, okay, so maybe they can hold on here and kind of hold on for dear life before we get to the end of the game. And then he pops out the back, and he's gone like 80 yards down the field. And I was sitting there, I was like, man, I expected the big run to come, just because they were getting jabbed, like I said, 5, 6, 7, 10 yards. But for the big run to happen like it happened was just peak Falcons. Raheem Morris, just another horrendous job managing the clock today. And then at the end of the game, like when they're about to go into overtime, I was just begging, like, please just kneel it. Please just kneel it. And then, they had Penix got a little bit frazzled maybe. I don't know what happened there, but really just poor execution from the Falcons passing game again, outside of Drake London. And, Kyle Pitts had a pretty bad drop early on, which was, kind of out of character for him for the season. But since it was an island game, that's the only thing that matters. And he's a bum again, and he's trash. Even though he had the highest on-target catch rate in the NFL going into that game at 97%, and 3 Falcons were in the top 10. So I don't know what's going on. It seems like we got a pretty good supporting cast, but we can't score no points consistently without the help of Jalen Walker. I don't know. Jalen Walker and Jesse Bates. That's the only way we can kind of get these things going back in our direction.
I've been waiting for some offenses to kind of just big boy the Falcons defense, like in the run game, and that was the Colts today.
Like the James Pierce stuff is outrageously bad. Like against the run. And I keep seeing Falcons fans be like, oh, it's fine. Like we're still okay with the trade because we got James Pierce. I'm like, what? Like you're watching this and you're like, you're cool with what's happening right now? Like he's not even participating in the team run defense. And I don't even mean that as a joke. Like he's just because there are multiple occasions where it's 3rd and 2, 4th and 3 or something like that. And he's like flying up the field trying to get a TFL, which he never gets. And I'm like, bro, if you go up the field and you're behind the running back, there's no one behind you. So now your linebacker's just going to get killed by some guard and bang, give up a 4th down, give up a touchdown. And I don't understand like how they keep letting him play on these rundowns when he's not even really trying to like stuff the run. And if you're going to be that guy, you got to get more pressure than he's doing now. And it kind of felt like they were invisible at times today, even though they did have 7 sacks. I thought the Jalen Walker played well. Jeff Ulbrich had another good day, like where he was able to get some pressures. Both teams like got nuked on 3rd down. There's a point where they were like 0-13 combined. So really weird, sloppy game. But Falcons passing offense, man, it's got to get better. Because like you can't go 12 for 28. You can't be as dysfunctional as you are and expect to win anything this season. But they're not going to. I mean, they're 3-6. They're done.
On top of the Rams high is that they have the number 9th overall pick now because they have the Falcons number 1 pick, which is I check out every week now. I know you do, but it's now part of my weekly checkup. My True Media, Next Gen Stats, Tankathon. Where are you at, Falcons? Where's that pick going? No, you did mention it. That I did think I agree. Ulbrich had a nice game. The teams combined to go 2 for 20 on 3rd down today. It was, but the Colts still had a high success rate on 1st and 2nd down, which just kind of tells you where they're at. Some nice design stuff, light in the pants. Pierce is kind of the epitome of it, or kind of like Chris, kind of is the like what is the example of what this whole defensive problem is. There's a lot of speed up front, but then just not a lot of size, not a lot of strength to hold up. And then you look on offense. Well, actually, no, I'll just start with some of the Taylor runs too. Like the long touchdown was the 83-yarder. It was a duo run, and the Colts did this a couple times, but it was like such an adjustment that I was like, yeah, this is kind of what you want to do against this Falcons defense. They went into slot, which is so 2 tight ends were on one side, 2 receivers on the other side. That's called slot formation. East right slot, east left slot, all that stuff, hip slot, and they ran duo. But the thing was the Falcons, they have a check against slot. They check into quarters. They check in. I saw it. They either ran palms, and I think it was palms they called, which is a variation of it. And so against duo with that when you have a 2 high box at that quarters cover 4, you're gonna have a light run box to stop it. And so they were able to pop off several of these runs just on a simple slot duo play, including the 83-yarder. But it was just a little fun adjustment they made. And I was giving Tony Brown Jr. some props because he was able to kind of like key in on this every week, and Taylor just takes advantage. But the Falcons' run game was rolling. Bijan Robinson had a nice game. Tyler Algier, the hamster ball. Awesome today. Yeah. 2 touches, but his oh my god, in the red zone, he was just running over everybody. I call him the hamster ball because as soon as he scored those 2 touchdowns, I was like, oh man, fantasy owners are just saying fire Arthur Smith. But no, and then Drake London goes for 104 yards, 1 touchdown. Like you said, it's just the auxiliary parts you kind of feel it a little bit, missed throws, lack of defensive size. You kind of just feel it. And I think the Colts kind of big boyed them today in the second half.
This is exactly what we said was going to happen to them this season. I know. It's exactly what we like. This was the most predictable. I'm trying to finish for them, but okay, so the whole time I'm like, you ate candy this offseason. Where's your meat and veggies? Where's our D tackles? Rook Ororo, who you drafted in the 2nd round last year, was unplayably bad today. It was ridiculous how often he was getting destroyed. Like when you're talking about that duo play, they were walking him just off the ball almost every single play.
That's the thing. You can't do light boxes with D tackle play like that. You need monsters.
You need Aaron Donald.
Yeah,
you need Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey in the box. Yeah, let's just get Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. Okay, cool. But I just don't understand how they didn't see this happening. And I know they've had some moments with their rookies, but I think Jalen Walker looks good. I think James Pierce, for what he gives you as a run defender, he's going to have to win more one-on-one pass rushes than he does now. Because even like the sack he had today, that was unblocked off the edge. And it's great that you can get that.
It was a screen
space, but
right.
And that was just
the thing is
totally
he's a dog chasing meat. Like he just, as soon as it's a screen and he had no discipline on it. He just ran. I guess it's not the worst thing. He ran straight at the quarterback, but he had no idea. Well, he had tunnel vision right at the quarterback.
I don't even want to say he got lucky, but I'm sitting there watching, as that play's unfolding, I'm watching him around like, where are you going, bro? But it got so mucked up that he was able to get there in time. So bad process, good result. We'll have to take that.
Right.
But man, they just have to get so much better at winning these one-on-one blocks. And it's crazy to say that after a game where they had 7 sacks on Daniel Jones, but I really do feel like a lot of it is Jeff Ulbrich really like he's really found a good groove with Ellis and Walker and kind of playing them together. Because I thought that was going to be maybe a point of confliction because their skill sets are kind of similar. I think, Caden Ellis will be the worst case scenario for Jalen Walker as his career turns out. So the fact that they've been able to get him on the field and have him be productive is, hat tip to Jeff Ulbrich. Like it's one of the few things that's working. And they need to bring back Ike Hilliard because I'm not sure that a Falcons receiver has not named Drake London has caught a pass since Ike Hilliard was fired after that Panthers game.
It feels like that, right? I know.
It does feel like that.
He was the first scapegoat. Then they fired their special teams coach too. Excuse me, by the way. No, and I agree that Walker, I might be mixing up teams. Was that who's that? Somebody fired their special teams coach recently. It was like so-and-so did bad, so we have to fire our special teams coach. No, I totally agree with that, though. Like Jalen Walker had 4 pressures today, and Ellis had 4 pressures. Pierce also had 5 pressures. So I should say that. But I do agree that I like the blitz stuff, the creeper stuff, the simulate stuff, and Walker is that's why I like this fit. It was going there because they do some funky stuff, and he's perfect for a funky defense. So that's very true about how he did today. I want to give also Daniel Jones scrambling today. Had the huge scramble on the last drive to go to overtime. He had 6 scrambles today, which is double his season high. He's been scrambling so much less this season and taking sacks. That's kind of bottoming out a little bit. But the scrambles, he had 8.5 yards to scramble. 4 was successful. So you actually got to see him like running a little bit again. But that's just how the game felt today. You got Alec Pierce. I thought I was going to hit my Hail Mary. He had 84 yards, four catches, 1 touchdown. But he was rolling. That's Alec Pierce is going to get paid. Everybody get ready for it. And it's not just those deep balls that he can pull down. It's all the other stuff he can do now. But the Colts only got stuffed on 4.9% of their runs. 2 of their 35 design runs were stuffed, which is a gain of 0 negative yards. 7 explosive runs allowed. It was just big boy run game against a defense that's not built that way. They're a defense built to have a lead and just swamp you and just just like built. It's like a full court press basketball team. Just okay, we'll allow some layups, but okay, no, we're just going to overwhelm you as the game goes along. But the offense is not consistent enough to do that right now, and that's just the big issue with this team.
Yeah. Okay, I just looked it up. I got curious about the Falcons receiver stats since the I
can see a light bulb turn on for you. You're like,
I was like, no, because I'm sitting here losing my mind. Like, does anyone else play for this team, or is it just Drake London and Kyle Pitts? So since week 4, Drake London has 37 catches on 58 targets. Kyle Pitts is second with 30 catches on 40 targets. Bijan Robinson is third with 29 catches on 36 targets. Fourth, Darnell Mooney, 7 catches on 20 targets. And the next receiver, Casey Washington, with 3 catches on 8 targets. So since Achille was fired, all Falcons receivers have, not named Drake London, have 12 catches for 201 yards in the past, 6 games? So we're killing it. We are killing it, man.
Interesting. I'm all about, I don't know if you remember the Randy ratio, but my dad, when he got hired, he said that 40% of the targets, so 40% of the target share essentially of plays should go to Randy Moss, which is one of those things where it's like, he's not wrong with the idea. It was just the execution, right, and also telling every opponent that that's what you're doing before you coach a single game. But you can hyperfixate enough to certain targets. Look at the Rams. Okay, we can go to Puka Nacua every single time last year. Okay, we need more. All right, we got Davante Adams. Okay, now teams are starting to overplay these 2 guys. All right, guess what? We just got 4 tight ends with multiple catches. Like we got, we just expand our auxiliary targets. The Seahawks, which we got JSN, one of the highest target shares in the last 12 years. Literally, it's I think number 2 behind Puka Nacua from last year. All right, we got to get Cooper Kupp going a little bit. Torrey Horton. Okay, but Torrey Horton's getting banged up. All right, Rashid Shaheed get in. Tight ends get in. Okay, now we can just build out our auxiliary targets. It just, again, gives you ability to like adapt as the season goes along and the playoffs hit and everything. Yeah. But, the Colts can do it. Tyler Warren had a nice game. I'm really liking how they're looking. And I think the defense, Sauce Gardner had a nice jump on the ball in one play. That was really nice. I want to still TBD on them just to see how high I can get on them, but that doesn't hurt. Any other closing thoughts on this game in Berlin?
No.
Just move on. Henderson's long touchdown was on Duo. So great day for Duo. Great day for Nate Tice's cut-ups this week. And also weird sequence in that Bucs game I meant to mention, the Patriots game. Like Drake Maye kind of sort of took a kneel when he was supposed to sneak. And I'm sure, I think it actually just slipped, but I'm not sure. But I'm curious on rewatch because Romo was saying like, oh yeah, they're burning clock there. And so I'm curious on rewatch if that actually is what it looked like.
You and Tony kicking it after the game? Is that what you're saying?
We're going to hang out. That's what we do. I live in Vegas, man. He gets in trouble here. He tries to run fantasy football events and gets in trouble here. All right, we'll go to low number 1. The Bills lose a game to the Dolphins, 30-13. Devon Achane, 225 total yards, almost a dozen missed tackles forced. What happened here, Charles? What happened? Because this was a rewatch game for me. I was like, oh, because I just kept assuming the Bills would pull it off, and then they just didn't. So what happened, Chuck?
Their defense sucks, bro. Like that is that is a serious, very serious problem for them. And I think what today showed is like once they get into the playoffs, if they're going to have games like today where once they get to the red zone, or even today, they only got that one time, which is kind of crazy for Buffalo. they need to score touchdowns because they're not their defense is not going to be able to hold up against some of these tougher offenses when it comes to playoff time. I mean, Devon Achane is a great player. I have been campaigning for this guy to get traded to a team that needs a running back. But man, like they shouldn't be running all over you like this. If you're a team that has like Super Bowl aspirations, that's pretty alarming. I think the fact that it just looks so easy for them when they needed to, like when Miami needed to run the ball to close that game, it looks so easy for them. Like they were ripping off big runs left and right, and that's really alarming. And you only scored 13 points in a game where Josh Allen still had a pretty good day. 52% success rate, which was higher than the Dolphins for the day. I thought he had some pretty big plays in the second half, but the turnovers, red zone inefficiency, lots of pressure today, just really, really sloppy football for the Bills. And I think that's two games that I would call it that I've seen this year where they played today against the Dolphins, and then the Falcons game on Monday night a couple of weeks ago, where it's like, man, you guys are better than this, and you didn't play better than this, but the defense is really, really a big concern now, I think, for them. And it has been the whole time. I mean, come on, they stay.
It has been. They pitched they had an amazing game against the Chiefs, and I get it, but it's a hyped up game at home and it's a familiar opponent. I mean, this is a familiar opponent, but it's a division opponent. But Mike McDaniel's still pretty damn good at down up ball plays. Like Mike McDaniel's either going to be the Dolphins head coach still doing this, or he's going to be the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL, or should be the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL next year. But I do think he's staying. But it was just, this has been my concerns with the Bills. It just hasn't totally bottomed out where, they pull off the game with the Chiefs. They have other moments too. And the offense has been rolling even when they've had weak moments on defense. You got to remember, even when they played the Panthers and they just absolutely swamped them, the Panthers were moving the ball. It was just, they got the turnovers. And that's the thing with a defense like this that always has generated turnovers at a high rate. Don't get me wrong. It's been part of their whole identity. But this is where my hesitations have come with this defense is their back seven isn't as tight to the football as they used to be. And why that's a big deal is you get more bodies to tackle. And if you're going to be light, especially the linebackers, you need bodies on the ball. And also when you have bodies on the ball, guys can punch at the football, more PBUs happen, more tip balls happen, the ball goes in the air, and then there's more bodies near it to make a play. So that's why this defense is so reliant on those, but even those are going to be so scattershot based on the opponent, especially an opponent that can, just manipulate you. I thought the Dolphins toyed with the Bills linebackers all day. They just toss stuff, wind back stuff, a lot of screens. And I know the Dolphins do that, but it was a lot more horizontal. And it felt like they just stretched the Bills sideline to sideline and then just getting them everywhere they wanted. Jalen Waddle catching the long touchdown, which was awesome. Kind of was funny that because the Bills tried to trade for him and they got all reported this morning. And then he just catches that touchdown. So that's just like a little dagger, just a turn right on, to the Bills. But yeah, James Cook had a fumble when the Bills were driving. Josh Allen had an interception near the goal line. He had a fumble and a QB sneak where it looked like a bunch of lions trying to take down an elephant in the safari. But it was just I don't know. The Bills just don't. This is why I'm so worried about them. We did, Matt and I did our top 10 power rankings, and I couldn't call them a clear contender because I'm just so worried about this defense. So I mean, it's a huge Achilles heel.
Yeah, I might blow your mind here right now because I was noticing this when I was watching I first noticed it during when the Dolphins crapped all over the Falcons, and everyone's going to that game saying, "Oh my God, Bijan Robinson's gonna do his thing. He's gonna run for 1 million yards." Didn't happen. Then today, James Cook didn't happen, and he's had some great games this season. They kind of punched in the mouth. And think about how the Dolphins started the season, all right? And this goes back further than even the Falcons game. So I'm going to take you all the way back to week 6. Since week 6, the Dolphins are the Dolphins defense, first in EPA per rush, fourth most, 0 or negative rushes. They have the 4th highest success rate, and they have allowed the third fewest runs of 5 or plus yards since week 6. Whoa. That's going back to their loss against the Chargers. Now, they've only won 2 games in that time span, but you've shut down Bijan Robinson. You've played well against James Cook. You played the Ravens in that time span, and you're in first for almost the past month, month and a week of football. So that's a pretty big turnaround from when they were getting absolutely gashed by just about everyone at the start of the season.
Yeah, I was calling them the white flag defense because it was just every play
Yeah,
they're just like, no, no.
that needs
Absolutely.
some
I
further investigation, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
Further
that's
investigation.
what's been so frustrating about them. I think even to start the year was like even talking before the year, we're like, they kind of feel like an off team this year. That feels like that's going to crap out them, but they got some cool defensive front players. Like they
Yeah,
actually got some cool guys up front. They trade Jalen Phillips, and they're still doing this. Zach Salier, I always mess up his name. He's a great player, but
Siler.
Sallard, he had a nice day. Actually, has his picture pops up on the YouTube show. And I thought too is just Jordan Brooks had a really nice game. He's just a good player. So
Yeah,
I mean, the Seahawks worked out okay, but I'm still shocked that they let him go. And he just didn't get a big contract relatively for linebackers. But I just think too is just that's a great little stat because I felt the same way. Because even like fantasy reasons, a lot of people are just I'm looking at them going like, yeah, they're 32nd in defense, 32nd against the run, all that stuff. So definitely does feel
no,
like they're actually
first.
not white flagging it.
Yeah,
First.
they're
Wow.
yeah first over the past month in run defense, and now if you take it for the whole season, they're up to 10th in EPA per rush defending it, which
Wow.
is wild. Yeah, so I might have to go
Yeah, they
back and
played
watch
some
some of that
decent run
film
games.
to see what's going on there.
Yeah. Go check out what they're doing. I know. I mean, it didn't
Buffalo
feel lucky. I
not
mean,
doing well though.
they got the turnovers. Yeah,
Yep.
Bills have the Bucks next week. Then they have the Texans on a Thursday night game. Two of the weaker run games, at least. So, I know they're having nightmares about Achan, but at least these two run games, I think, are both bottom 5. So I should help them out a little bit. But yeah, I can't get over this Achilles heel. I love the offense, and even if it has moments of frustration, Josh Allen's Josh Allen, and Cook was banged up going into this week, but I'm not excusing them all of it. But they just feel so just not complete this year. That's the defense is just the what I like epitomizes that. I think. Let's get to low number 2. Wow, another
Funny.
another game of our involving a Florida team, I guess. But as we go north in Florida, the performance went south. Jaguars blow a huge lead to Davis Mills. Texans win this game 36-29. It was a little tighter than that, than a little flailing play at the end as the Jaguars offensive line gets overwhelmed. The Trevor Lawrence tries to make a play happen. And but the Texans scored 26 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. We're having a couple of these types of games this season.
Jeez.
Chuck, Jags. I'm not banning them yet, but man, what did you think of this game? Letting Davis Mills go 30 on you.
Well, bro, that's pathetic. I don't know. It's just I don't even know. I don't. It just sounds mean to say that about. Do you think Davis Mills was surprised that he crossed the goal line on that scramble on the last drive?
Just still waiting to get hit the whole time.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. I'm like, oh my god, because when he started running, I was like, are you out of your damn mind, bro? What's going on? And then he kept going. Next thing you know, he's in the corner, crossing the goal line. And I was just so baffled that they kind of let themselves collapse like that. But maybe we should just get used to this version of this team doing that. Because I just don't know how you're supposed to come back from that when it's Davis Mills. You did the thing for 3 quarters. You did the thing what you're supposed to do. You bottled them up. They didn't score many points. They had 10 points going to the fourth quarter, and somehow you lose 36-29. So in the fourth quarter when they really started to explode, Davis Mills 0.6 EPA per dropback, 52% success rate, 0 sacks. I mean, it was kind of shredding. And then he had the big scramble to close it out. So when you get that production from your team and the other team gets 11 yards in the fourth quarter and they had 2 yards going to the final drive, you might have a chance to come back. But good God, that's just so embarrassing from the Jaguars. And Trevor Lawrence in the fourth quarter, 0 for 1 in terms of pass attempts. He had 6 dropbacks. He was sacked 3 times. He was pressured on all 6 of his dropbacks. It felt like more than 100%, to be honest with you. And they just got clobbered, trying to close that game out.
Yeah, it was 50% the whole day, which isn't the first time he's hit 50% pressure rate. And that's the thing against the Texans too. It feels like it because they don't do any funky stuff to really get unblocked guys. So it's just guys getting their butts kicked and then just pressure right in the face. That I even wrote down. It's not just quantity of pressures. Then that's the difference here too, where it's like, okay, pressure comes. All right, boom, I'm able to boot out and escape the pocket as a quarterback. But when multiple guys win, it's the quality of these pressures. Guys right in his face, and then there's another guy looping around. Against man coverage, Trevor Lawrence went 4 of 8, 61 yards, a pick, and 4 sacks against man coverage. A quarter of those throws were tight windows throws, 8 pressures, a lot of them on blitzes. So 8 pressures on, I think it was on so a 14 dropbacks. It was just when they went man coverage, and that's what they do a lot on 3rd and 4th down. The Texans do. They just play man, and they dare you to beat them. Play one robber, and dare you to beat them. And the Jags didn't. As much as I like Jacoby Myers looked nice in this offense.
Yeah.
Parker Washington had another hero day, London's favorite player, where it was like, oh, yeah, that's nice. But then this is where you're missing like the dudes. Those are nice auxiliary players. This is when you're missing the BTJs, hopefully the Travis Hunters and all that, because you just can't beat man coverage. Derek Stingley on that pick, he just undercuts the backup receiver because the backup receiver starts drifting. And it's like, that's the difference is Derek Stingley's just so freaking good. He just undercuts it. So it's just, they just don't have the guys up front or the guys to win against man to man. The Texans do. Flawed team, but they do on defense at least. It's the best defense in the NFL probably. It
is really good. And they showed it like in that 4th quarter. Jacksonville had nothing. They couldn't do anything. And they're just so frustrated, man. Like to blow that game in that manner on that last play, like, come on, that's embarrassing. That's just embarrassing.
It is rough. I know. It's just, I think it's a Walker out there. It's like guys have nice moments and they just couldn't. Nico Collins had some huge moments against them, but that was the thing. It was like, get that one stop, get that one play. Don't let Davis Mills scramble on you to like knock you out in this game. But no, two very inconsistent teams going against each other. But congrats to Davis Mills, congrats to the Texans. Your defense is really awesome. The Jags remain frustrating, even if they have some nice moments. We'll go low number 3. And this is, I feel like every fan base was probably frustrated with this team today, but the Vikings offense continues to be a little scattershot. 8 false starts at home. So
what the hell was
US
that?
Bank and then the Metrodome, before that, the stadium I grew up in, really known to create some false starts. It was a very loud dome. It continues to be a very loud dome, very loud fans in Minnesota. But that's for the away team. That's the opposing team. 8 false starts at home. The Ravens win this game 27-19. They felt inevitable throughout this game, even when the Vikings had a pretty decent start on both sides of the ball, I thought. But Charles, what did you think about the Vikings and the Ravens performance as the Ravens kind of really find their way?
Man, I thought Lamar, they just got to have that guy, like, because even when it's not
pretty
always,
good,
just got to have him. Yeah, pretty good. Because even when I would not say that this was like his best game at times.
Nope.
Like Brian Flores, really good. They have some looks that kind of frustrated them at times, and it wasn't always like cleanest operation for them. But at the end of the day, like he just makes too many plays. And if you give him a chance, like at the end of the day, the game to close it, he's just gonna get it for you almost every single time. And man, like they like I really hope that he can stay on the field the rest of the year because like he is just that essential to that offense, especially if their running game is going to be a little bit inconsistent. Even though they did have some better runs today, especially in the second half of that game, but. The Vikings, man, they have like a I don't know how to describe it, like a game flow problem. Is that it? Is that how I would describe it? Where you get the first 2 drives, like basically scripted stuff. They're really JJ's been good on the scripted stuff this year. So like if you just look among all quarterbacks with 50 dropbacks this year, there's 41 of those guys going into Sunday Night Football. You just take the first 2 drives of every game. JJ's 5th in e-paper dropback. He's first in air yards per attempt. They're launching it. 3rd in yards per dropback. He hasn't thrown a pick. He is getting sacked on 20% of those dropbacks. But still, like that is where that's crazy. That's crazy. It's 19%, but still, to be correct. But still, like for that sample size, for the first 2 drives, like they've been good when they're coming out with that stuff they practice at the end of the week. They have that on lock. Now the problem comes when you got to start playing the game at some point, right? You got to start reacting to what is actually going on. And that's when it falls off a cliff. He's 41st in e-paper drop back past that second drive this year. Getting sacked on 11% of his dropbacks, but obviously it's a much bigger sample size. Interception on 6.3% of his dropbacks. I mean, it's been really tough for them to kind of get going once they kind of have to get into the flow of the game and react to what is happening. So I thought, I will say I did think this was his best game for whatever that's worth. There's still a long way to go, but you had some sloppy play at times. But still, like this was probably his best game, and you're still looking at it like, oh man, for like the last, 3 quarters of the game, we really struggled to kind of get anything going, and just got to be more accurate. And whatever issues are going on, like operational wise, that have really popped up since he came into the starting lineup, they got to figure it out. Like, formational stuff, all these false starts, it wasn't really happening when Carson Wentz was in there. So they got to figure out like what the actual problem is as far as communication goes.
I think it's like you say, the opening of script stuff. It's very apparent. It's very young guy stuff, and I even Dart with the Giants has a little bit of this going on. Where I mean, those are guys that need reps. Those are the plays they're comfortable with because they practice them the most throughout the week. So a game plan, there's a lot of adjustment week in, week out, and that's the big thing about when people are getting used to being an NFL player. That's the biggest jump, is going from like, well, in college on offense, we had the same 3 third down plays every week, or same 5 third down plays every week, and maybe we added one. In the NFL, it's like, well, we have maybe our one staple, but then we have 7 new ones, and the ones that we ran before aren't the same formation or verbiage. So it might be the same concept, but you actually have to say them differently in the huddle. And that's what the learning curve is. And I do think on the place he's comfortable with, it's all on his feet. Paul Chris, it's the best line, and I always copy it, is that quarterbacks, you listen to your feet. And you can see so many times he takes this extra hitch because he's not trusting what he's seeing. And when he trusts when he sees, it's 1, 2, 3, hitch, ball out. Like that's where quarterback is in rhythm. And his is when he's out of rhythm, that's when you start seeing the sprays because his feet are just out of whack. He's off balanced. And again, that can come better with more reps and as he gets more comfortable from a muddy pocket, but he's just not there right now. But another thing too is if he has kind of an elongated motion, and he's got plenty of arm strength. He has a good arm.
Yeah, he does.
But the thing is, when you have the elongated motion, if you're a half second late, you take that second hitch, defenders can recover. And that's why you see some PBUs with him from the DBs and linebackers, but also and balls at the line of scrimmage. Exactly. It's because then they go, oh, there's the hitch. Oh, balls, I'm not getting the rush. All right, hands up. Some guys get balls batted down because they are natural line drive throwers. Some get it because they have elongated motions. Like a guy like Justin Herbert just gets balls batted down. It's just his throw style. It is what it is. It's just how he throws. Caleb a little bit has that. McCarthy has that sometimes, but he can help it out, I think, if he just quickens it up. But again, I keep using this. It's the catch-22 is that he needs reps to quicken it up. And so that's what's encouraging is that we got to see a little bit today. I thought throwing between the numbers, again, is something that he has some nice moments, but it just kind of goes up and down. He was 9 of 21 for 90 yards and 2 picks thrown between the numbers. One of those was the Jefferson pick, or actually both of them were Jefferson picks. One of them was, though, he steps up, a nice step up, but then he throws it late into double coverage to Jefferson down the field. And it's just an easy play for the DB. But yeah, it's just, again, need reps, but the run game looks good. I will say that Jalen Naylor was the leading receiver for the Vikings. Kind of a bizarro game for the Vikings, but they have some good receivers right now.
Yeah, I think Marlon Humphrey is going to be having nightmares about Jalen Naylor for a minute. He cooked him today. Yeah, he did. That was just a really interesting game. Really interesting game.
Yeah,
I don't even want to sound
that game.
No, I don't think anyone felt good after that game. And like, man, the refs have got to get out of some of this stuff, and just like some bizarre decisions today. Like, I didn't understand like how that wasn't an interception. Because I feel like we see plays like that all the time. Like I thought the ball was allowed to touch the ground as long as it's like being secured. And Mike Pereira was like, I'm a little bit confused there. And then they had I think they even had like some DPIs on like third downs that pushed the Vikings forward a little bit, maybe where it looked sloppy, and then they were able to capitalize that to their credit. So like, just I don't know. They got to get better. The offense sucks right now. And I still just don't see why there's such a big problem with saying that. If they continue to get this level of production from JJ McCarthy, they're just not going to win many more games for the rest of the season. That's just what it is.
It's just too hard. Yeah, it's just not all the way there yet. Yeah, I mean it is what it is. When they're off the opening script, or they have to have a good like a game last week where they have a good game script and everything, where he doesn't have to throw it 40-something times like he did today. That's not what they're built to do. No, they've never been built that way. They leaned into a little bit last year with Darnold and what their passing game was, but right now how they're built, they should be a very balanced. It should look a Diet Coke version of what the Packers do, and I mean that in a complimentary way, where it's a lot of jabs in the run game, a lot of jabs, and then a couple of haymakers. All right, but we get enough explosives to offset the bad play. So he only took 1 sack too. I will say that with McCarthy. So that's another improvement thing, but pressure kind of unravels him still. The one thing I also want to kind of part on this is Ravens sided is like Henry looks so much better with Patrick Ricard back there. He's like definitely a fullback running back or a 2-back running back, but just I think Father Time is catching up just a little bit with Derrick Henry. And I just want to say that out loud because Keaton Mitchell's getting touches for a reason. And I looked it up. It's not just eye test. Derrick Henry's average speed is starting to drop a little bit. 2023, 11.62. 2024, 11.58. So about the same. This year, 11.25 miles an hour. Amount of plays where he reaches 15 miles an hour or more, a top speed of that. 2023, 10%. 2024, 11.7%. 8.3% this year. So again, not just a total fall off awful or anything like that, but it's apparent to me. He had a play he slipped on today. He's had a couple of those, a couple of times where he's bouncing, like he's running into the back of the guys and he just doesn't have the juice to kind of like redirect himself. You know, if you watch Jonathan Taylor sometimes, I think he has good vision, not the best vision I've seen, but he'll bump into a guy and then he can kind of recover and then get north again. Like Nick Chubb, when in his prime, was another back like that. But when I watch Henry, like there's a couple times where it's like he can't recover how he did. He can still get those runway runs, but yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on it, just in case, because I'm feeling better about the Ravens. I'm feeling better what they're doing with Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, me too.
Feeling better. Draymond Jones up front.
Like, he was awesome today.
Yes,
Draymond Jones, he was crazy.
It was one of those where I was like, oh yeah, you got him. Like it was one of those kind of games for me. So like I'm liking where the Ravens are going. They have the 4th easiest schedule left this year. The Ravens do. You think they're winning the division? Like where they're going right now? Are you feeling good about it?
Ask me in 3 hours.
Okay. 3 hours. Fair.
Yeah.
I'll ask you at the end when we do the post Sunday Night Football recap. I'll ask you. That's perfect.
I do think they're the best team in the division, though. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Whether they can catch up and close that out, I don't know.
They don't feel cheap good now. Like there's a little bit more substance going on. So definitely. The Bears game, you can start seeing it. They get Lamar back. Okay. They're starting to kind of get rolling a little bit, but yeah, Vikings deep offense, blah, but Ravens starting to feel a little bit better. One little extra credit before we get out of here. An entertaining game, even if there wasn't a ton of points. The Bears and Giants, and the Bears and Caleb Williams with their 4th quarter comeback. Also want to say, I enjoyed watching Jackson Dart today. I think I'll watch a lot of enjoy a lot of offenses against this Bears defense. Dude can run the freaking football, and he had some big boy throws today that I really enjoyed. He had a 3rd down where he hit a backside dig, and that fired me up. So it's not all perfect with him. He got knocked out of the game, which is one of my issues with how they're using him and stuff. But some fun stuff. I'll say some fun stuff from Jackson Dart, but also some really fun stuff from Caleb Williams as well.
Yeah, Caleb was awesome today. I mean, you might look back at the stat sheet, you'll see like 20 for 36, but man, just go back and watch the game, man. So many like S tier 1% throws that were dropped, like in the end zone too, on 4th down. And DJ Moore, my fantasy team at 0 for today, could have had one of those big 4th down touchdowns that he dropped. But we'll power through and persevere for another week. And also, I got to say this before we get out of here. Russell Wilson coming into that game, oh my God. Buddy, 1, it's time to retire. And 2, like when he first came to the game, they're all like the Giants are near the Bears goal line, like about to score a touchdown potentially. And Russell drops back the pass. I think it was on 3rd and goal. And the C parts, right? Like 2014 Russ is scoring a touchdown here. Absolutely. Yeah. 2025 Russ, man, he's running through. And as soon as he gets to the line of scrimmage, like a bear paw just grabs him out of nowhere. Yank right off stage. Like he stopped immediately. Went from full speed to a halt, and they brought him back. I'm like, oh, Russ, you please call quits after this year. Don't try to do this again. This has to be done.
You know what? He has some fond memories in Soldier Field. A couple that I've actually been around. In our senior year together, we played Northern Illinois at Soldier Field, and he balled out. I think he only had a couple of incompletions, a whole bunch of touchdowns. And then the next year against the Bears, and the Bears were a good team that year. When my dad was the OC there, he had like his breakout game. So I think maybe he was like heard some sports movie music kind of going through his head and going like, Swear it comes back, buddy. Like this, here it comes. I'm gonna rekindle the magic at Soldier Field, and yeah, it just happens. And it was cold there. It looked cold.
Yeah.
While I'm like 70 degrees here in Vegas, I was like, oh yeah, don't miss that snow and 28-degree wind chill or whatever it was at Soldier Field in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Bears had 6 drops today.
Yeah, that was bad. I'm gonna say I've just reached a point where Russell was like, bro, I don't even like to see you be like this. Like you were so good at your peak. Like, come on, man. Let's not tarnish this at the end. This is sloppy.
Sean Kemp with the Sonics. Or not Sean Kemp,
Yes.
Patrick Ewing with the Sonics. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
6 drops for the Bears. Yeah, I mean their offense is going there. I thought their run game would just roll over this defense, and it kind of was just meh today. They're kind of trying to figure out the split. I thought Colson Loveland had an awesome game at tight end for the Bears. Also had some nice blocks too. And then I this game was entertaining. It was not it's 2 very imperfect teams, but they made some plays today, and I thought I enjoyed it. And I thought Caleb, like, I'm kind of glad that kind of the fourth quarter went that way because it was a frustrating day, but he had some plays today that were frustrating in the way that some of the results were. But I thought some of his process and some of his playmaking today was outstanding. He made so many free runners miss, like true free runners, not a guy that came in 2 seconds into the snap, like truly unblocked or beat the guy right away. And he made him miss and then just even got successful plays off. That's why it's so exciting to watch, and his growth in the floor of this offense too. So wanted to give them a shout out, and Dart a little bit of a shout out as well. But we're closing it out today, Chuck. I'll be back on Tuesday with Matt Harmon for some more Week 10 takeaways. I'm Nate Tice. You can find me at Nate_Tice. That's Charles McDonald. You can find him at 4Verts. Thank you again, Chuck, for joining me. Thank you for everyone joining me, and us, I should say, here on our live show on YouTube. Subscribe to us here on the Yahoo Sports YouTube channel. Also subscribe to us on the podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us, rate us 5 stars. Leave us a review, please. Also, just, some written words in there. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks to Stone, Austin, and Madison behind the scenes. Also appreciate them. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for joining the live show. See you guys next time.